All right, what's going on, friends and family, fellow investors? I just want to share a little moment with you that I had out in the field today. I saw a couple properties. I put in an offer on two of them. Now, you run across all kind of sellers and all kind of people when you get out there after you make the phone call, even if you talk to them or you just prospect on a property. Now, I want to share with you two different kind of sellers that I had to deal with today, or that I met today, and I made great offers for the situation after I listened to the motivation and found out what's the reason why they were selling. And the first property I want to talk about here, it's a young lady. She bought the she well she's she bought the property when she was a young lady. She's had it for about 20 years or so, and she's been the landlord for most of the last 10, 15 years or something like that. Either way, the tenants took great care of the property. There wasn't much work that needed to be done to it. It might need a new water softener, but she just put new shingles on the roof. She just got a new condenser and a new water heater. And so, it's a lot of things in the property that are looking great. It probably just needs some paint. Every property needs some work. So maybe it needs some paint or something like that. Now, this is great. Um, this is great and all, but she's selling it by herself, for sale by owner. So she's selling it by herself. The first thing that she's messing up with is she wants. This is a market that's $90,000 to $110,000 of where the property is. Now, she's putting it on the market as a private seller for $120,000, thinking that maybe she'll get this. Now, she has a mortgage on the property that's $89,000, and she bought it 15 years ago or something like that for $98,000. So she's trying to get the difference between the 98,000 and the 120,000 in her pocket. Um, you know, excuse me, from the 89,000 to the 129,000, so she can get it in her pocket. So everything over 98,000 for her is profit. So she's trying to at least profit the property, over the 98,000, which is understandable. Now she's she's selling it in a market that's a buy and hold market. This is not very much. This is not too much a renter's market, and then especially in the neighborhood where it's at. Okay, she can find owner occupants who probably will get a loan for 110,000, but the bank has got to justify that loan. So I told her she'll have to get an appraisal on the property, and then she'll have to get an agent who could sell it at retail. And then on top of that, she'll have to pay taxes on anything she earned over the $98,000. And none of those things she wanted to do. Okay, she didn't want to pay taxes. She didn't want to pay an agent. Okay, she didn't want to deal with an appraisal. Um, so the offer that I made to her, because she said if she don't sell the property, she'll just re-rent it. Okay. Now the offer I made to her, and I explained to her, we're a company, we buy properties, and we create, as an asset. So whatever purchase we make have to have an upside, um, in, for us in the end of at the end of the deal. Okay. I told her I'll give her $120,000. I'll give her $120,000 if she takes five and a half or $5,000 up front at 5% interest and at a 5-year balloon. Okay. Now, this was the original. Let me get rid of some of this here. I did just do a video. The mic wasn't on, so all of this is just from the video I just did. Either way. So I offered her 5,000 down, 5% interest, and a 5-year balloon. I said if the 5-year balloon is too long, we could do a 2-year balloon. Okay. And I said I originally offered her the amortized monthly payments of $617. So amortizing $115,000 is what I'll be amortizing over 30 years at $617 a month. Now that 617 will cover her mortgage, which was $550 a month, and she would cash flow. I would even give her 650. She would cash flow at least $100 a month. and she'll be done with the property, and she'll start to recoup her equity over time. And this is kind of what I explained to her. Now, the problem that she's facing right now is trying to get the difference between 98,000 and 120,000. She's trying to get that profit right there. And not to mention, she's trying to get from 89,000 back up to 98,000 just so she can feel like she's breaking even. So if she once she get the money, what's this $9,000 or $8,000, excuse me, $9,000 difference here. Now she'd have to go above that $98,000 just to get a profit. Now the problem is anything over that 98,000, she's gonna have to pay taxes on. She don't want to pay taxes. She don't want to have to deal with an agent. So I explained to her this is the best offer that she could probably take right now. I said I could close in 5 days on a deal like this. There's a title company in town who will handle this transaction for us. 5,000 down, 5% interest, a 5-year balloon, 2-year if that's too long. Okay, and she said no, which is fine. So then she countered me with $110,000. Then she came back with a counter of $110,000 cash. I explained to her, well, that's still not no upside for us. We still need an upside. So my counter to her was $6,500 down, 7% interest, and then $750 a month. Okay. So now she'll cash flow $200 a month, and her mortgage will be taken care of, and she'd only pay taxes on this 7%. Okay, and she wouldn't even be paying taxes on that 7% because the mortgage is 3%. She's got a 3% mortgage, so she's doubling the interest. She's covering her interest and getting some extra. She could get a 2-year balloon, but I explained to her the longer she stay in it, the more money she make. And because she's a landlord, a young landlord that wants to retire, but also willing to re-rent, this is probably the best deal for her right now. Either this or an all-cash offer for somebody that's got the passion to pay that $110,000 for this property. That's hey, I'm not saying it's not out there. They're not out there, but how long that's gonna take versus a person that's in your face saying, "I'll close in 5 days. I'll give you $6,500 of your $22,000 profit." The point is, there's sellers that want to sell and there's sellers that need to sell. Okay, she just wanted to sell, so she wasn't really motivated enough, and which is fine. But she just wanted to sell. She didn't need to sell. And for a person in this situation, seller finance deal was probably best for her to get as much equity back as she can out of the property. This deal right here that I offered her would have net $22,000 over if she took this deal and she stayed in the payments. Actually, that was at 5%. So this is probably a little bit more. If I offer her a 7% interest, she probably get more loan, about $270,000. This is just eyeball math here. This is not definite math. But if I went from 5% up to 7%, she probably gained an extra, $50,000 at least, in profits. So this would probably been her best deal right here. So instead of just taking the $22,000, she could have made quite a bit more. So this is what the agreement was worth after 30 years. All right. So most people want to sell, they don't need to sell. That was her motivation. But this was definitely the best deal for her in her situation. Second property that I dealt with, was by an agent. Spoke with the agent. Actually, this is in the same town right here, the same neighborhood, same town rather. So, like I said, this market is a retail market is only about $90,000 to $110,000. This is a buy and hold market, not so much a fix and flip market. Okay, gentleman had the property up for sale at least probably about a year now. Um, uh, uh, um, Originally he wanted $45,000 for it. Okay, he put it up there on the market for $45,000, and the agent told me he wasn't happy with the lowball offers of $35,000 or $25,000. Okay, but here's the deal: this property is dilapidated, it's falling apart, it's got it needs lawn care out this world. I mean, I couldn't barely walk up to the property because there was so many bushes and everything in the way. It had code violations hanging on the doors. The roof was falling apart. I mean, everything ugly about a house that's what this property was. And I know fix and flippers in Janesville or buy and holders in Janesville, and I'm sure that they called to try to make offers on this property, but this guy right here, which just like this lady here, just head was up in the clouds, and no, they had to be brought down to earth here when they deal with an investor who could give them a fair market value, which is what these offers are. These are not lowball offers. So never be ashamed about making business related offers that make sense. Okay, so these are fair market offers, and that's what this property is, a fair market condition. So the gentleman was receiving offers at $25,000, and because he wasn't happy with that, he decided to shoot it up to $99,000. Okay, so the logic behind that is that if he shoot it up to $99,000, then sooner or later he'll get his $45,000 asking price, because apparently he think he'll talk somebody will talk him down from 99,000, as if that's how that works. Listen, the market dictates the 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 value of the property. You don't have people just walking up to you, especially smart investors, just walking up to your property and just throwing numbers out there, hoping that it'll stick. When I offered these numbers on this property, I knew exactly what was my top dollar that I can give on this property, based on how much I can get. And the rents on this in this area for this house could be anywhere from $1,000 to $1,200. Okay, so I knew I could get this 750 covered with the rents in the area. Okay, that's all it is. You raise the rents up, but that's about it. It's not going to change the value of the property. So the same thing goes with this gentleman here. You know, these are fair market calculated offers according to what this market dictates. Okay, it's shooting the property up twice as much of what it's worth is not going to get you your asking price, especially when it's in this condition. And the point that I want to make about this property is some people's pain is just not great enough. Okay, some people's pain is just not great enough. This guy apparently is going to hold on to this property until he keep on getting code violation after code violation after code violation, and it's going to keep racking up. He might not. He might start paying taxes. So he's going to continue to drive the value of this property down because he feels that he should hold out for this $45,000 asking price here. You know, and I don't know how far down he have to go before his pain get great enough, but that's that's what I ran across today dealing with this property here. Some people paying are not great enough, and some people want to sell and don't need to sell. You know, even if you do listen to their motivation. But so anyway, that was my day out in the field, ladies and gentlemen. Again, my name is Josh. I'm the acquisition manager here at my company, and we buy property. Commercial property, residential property. We make deals happen. Uh, Likes, share, even subscribe, and I might even share more days out in the field with you and show you about deals that I structured and things like that. But yeah, either way, stick around, tune in. Peace.